Good morning, guys. Today we're starting our first story of Unit 4, so make sure you have your Understanding Different Points of View reader, and we're turning to page 4, and it's Here, Boy, an excerpt from Because of Winn-Dixie. So this is a chapter book, and it's also a movie, so you may have seen the movie, and remembering that an excerpt is just a part of the story, it's not the whole story. We're going to be looking at key details from our story today, and then we'll talk a little bit about point of view when we get into our small groups. So, starting in the first paragraph, you see again there's some italics, and usually that's an introductory type paragraph that's giving us some background information of either what's happening in the story or something we might need to know to understand the story. And because of Winn-Dixie, Opal Baloney, thinking she might be a main character, has just relocated with her father, who is a preacher, to a small town in Florida. So this word relocated means to move. You guys are probably familiar with that word. In the following passage from chapter 1, Opal goes to a supermarket to buy macaroni and cheese, but she returns home with much more. I wonder what else she comes home with. From that day on, her life begins to change in important ways as she learns about the value of friendship and community, compassion, and forgiveness. So we're also learning in this paragraph what she's going to learn about. So kind of the lesson of the story, the moral, the theme, some of those ideas. So knowing that Opal is our main character and that she's gone to the supermarket, I'm guessing that this will be told from Opal's point of view, so probably first person. So let's see if we see any of those signs, those pronouns that will support that this is told in first person point of view. So do you remember from yesterday? I, me, we, that's first person. At first, I didn't see a dog. Ooh, a dog. There were just a lot of vegetables rolling around on the floor. Interesting. I don't normally see vegetables rolling around on the floor. Tomatoes and onions and green peppers. Normally those are on a shelf at the grocery store. I wonder why they're rolling around on the floor. And there was what seemed like a whole army of Winn-Dixie employees running around, waving their arms just the same way the store manager was waving his. That's interesting. She's at the grocery store, and we have things happening that are a little unusual. So I'm thinking these are probably key detail 1 and key detail 2. It's abnormal things we would see or abnormal behaviors. And then the dog came running around the corner. Oh my goodness. He was a big dog and ugly, and he looked like he was having a real good time. I wonder what he was doing for her to think he was having a real good time. His tongue was hanging out. He was wagging his tail. He skidded to a stop and smiled right at me. That's funny. I had never before in my life seen a dog smile, but that is what he did. He pulled back his lips and showed me all his teeth. Then he wagged his tail so hard that he knocked some oranges off a display, and they went rolling everywhere, mixing in with the tomatoes, onions, and green peppers. I'm thinking now that maybe I know why those green peppers and onions and tomatoes were rolling all across the floor. I have a little clue here to what's going on. The manager screamed, "Somebody, sorry guys, somebody grab that dog." I'm thinking he is upset, not very happy, because he's screaming it, and I have an exclamation mark. There's a lot of emotion there. The dog went running over to the manager, wagging his tail and smiling. He stood up on his hind legs. You could tell all he wanted to do was get face to face with the manager and thank him for the good time he was having in the produce department. That's funny to me. But somehow he ended up knocking the manager over. collapse. And the manager must have been having a bad day, because lying there on the floor, right in front of everyone, he started to cry. The dog leaned over, real concerned, and licked his face. So let's go back real quick and make sure we haven't skipped any key details. We've got the fact that people are running around waving their arms, there's things rolling all over the floor, and then it looks as if another key detail might be we have a dog running around the grocery store. In this paragraph, do we have any key details? We have some more details about what the dog is doing, but is there anything else important that's happened that we would need to include in a summary? I don't think so. The manager got knocked over, but again, that may or may not be a key detail. So let's read on and we can come back and think about it. Please, said the manager, somebody call the pound. Oh no, nobody wants the dog to go to the pound. Wait a minute, I hollered. That's my dog. Don't call the pound. Huh? That's her dog. I don't remember her having a dog. All the Winn-Dixie employees turned around and looked at me, and I knew I had done something big. And maybe stupid too. But I couldn't help it. I couldn't let the dog go to the pound. Here, boy, I said. Okay, so we have Opal's in the store. She sees vegetables rolling around on the floor, the employees and the manager screaming and waving their arms. We see a dog running around the corner. And then the next key detail would be, that's right, Opal screaming, that's my dog. Now, when we were here, I put a question mark and I said, I don't remember her having a dog. Is the dog her dog? No. When we read forward in the next paragraph, we learn that she had done something big and stupid, but she couldn't let the dog go to the pound. So here we see it's not her dog. She had just said that that was her dog to save him from going to the pound. So that might be a great detail to add to the end of our summary. All right, my friends, that is the end of the excerpt of Because of Winn-Dixie. I would think if it were me, I'd be dying to know what happened next. So maybe we can try to find the book. I don't know. But that was an exciting, fun little story about the dog because of Winn-Dixie. All right. So we started off talking about point of view. And I said that we were going to talk about it in small group. But I think right now I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about it. And notice here that we see the pronoun I. We see that pronoun often. I. We see me. And of course on the next page we have I hollered, I knew, I had, I. Lots of I's and lots of me's. So be thinking in your mind, what point of view is the story told from? Is it told from first person, second person, or third person? Come to class ready to talk about it. We'll see you in just a little bit.